You know it. You tell the story. You tell the whole damn world this is bear territory.
That's what I'm talking about.
Are you a Golden Bear fan who loves the University of California? Well, we're glad you found us. If you're like us and are unabashedly and unapologetically all about Cal, you found the right place. Welcome to Tell the Whole Damn World. We're the podcast that celebrates all things Cal. We hope to make you feel more connected to this wonderful university that has given all of us so much. It's Monday, June 16th, 2025. I'm your host, Reza Serafinijad. I hope all of you fathers out there had a wonderful Father's Day, and it's another great day to be a bear. Thanks so much for joining us. In today's episode, Ahmad Anderson and I welcome former Cal basketball player Rod Benson to the show. But there's a hell of a lot more to Rod than that. He's made a real name for himself as an extremely talented author, podcaster, and artist. We're going to spend time learning about how he has reinvented himself, see some of his incredible artwork, and talk about a great book he's written called Different Dude. And just wait until you hear him. He's got quite the radio voice. Before we get to the interview, I want to express how much we appreciate all of you out there listening and watching. Remember that we post all of these episodes on YouTube, so if you need a break from all the bad news going on around the world these days, make a little time to watch us. We promise we'll always do our best to put a smile on your face and help you come away feeling good about your connection to the greatest university on the planet. And I have an important scheduling note to share with you. It's not lost on me that we've been pumping out a lot of content. We're closing in on 40 episodes already, and it's entirely possible we're producing more content than you have the time to watch or listen to. So with that in mind, now that we've firmly established ourselves, we're going to release one episode per week again, each Monday. The tentative plan is to switch back and forth between featured guest and Cal History episodes with Leslie Mitchell. We don't want to overwhelm all of you out there. And hey, if you're enjoying these podcasts, please tell all your Cal friends about us. Share tellthewholedamnworld.com on your social media. Speaking on behalf of all of us here, including Ahmad and Leslie, thank you so much for listening and watching. We appreciate you more than you know. Let me grab my co-host, Ahmad, the man who created Bear Territory, and we'll be right back to spend some time with the one and only Rod Benson. I've been looking forward to this one. With all of the great guests we've had on this show so far, and we've really been fortunate to have some great ones, Rod Benson stands out as someone I've really been hoping to interview. Most Cal fans will remember him as a basketball player who played at power forward and center for the Golden Bears under Ben Braun from 2003 through 2006. And he went on to play professionally for 12 years overseas. He was named an All-Star in the NBA G League and was a two-time Korean League champion. But it's what he has done after his playing days that really makes Rod Benson such an interesting guest. After basketball, he became a blogger, a nationally known columnist, a podcaster, an internationally acclaimed artist, and most recently the author of a book called Different Dude. And for those of you who haven't yet picked up his book, I highly recommend that you do. It's a wonderfully entertaining, engaging, and insightful read. And I can't tell you how many times I had to put it down because I was laughing so hard. We're excited to sit down with him today and learn more about what makes this Different Dude tick. Welcome to the show, Rod. We appreciate you making the time.
Man, I watched the Shannon Sharp do introductions of people, and I'm like, man, this person has a lot of accolades. And I'm sitting here I kind of zoned out while you were doing it, and I snapped back in like, you still talking about me? Oh my
That's
God.
right.
I've done all that. Well, thank you so
Who's
much.
that guy? Who's that guy?
Hey, like I say, Ahmad and I are available for rent anytime you need a hype man.
Yeah,
We're
no
there
problem.
for you. We could do it.
We got you. We got you, brother. Well, look, man, it's exciting to have you on the show. As I said, we're all there. But I want to just get right to it. get to the juice right now. Look, you played from 2003 to 2006 for Ben Braun. You went on to play professionally. You did the damn thing. Man, more than 10 years. And you have, like Lisa Stanfield, been around the world, Korea, Taiwan, Philippines, France. Now, it is an adjustment for people coming from Fresno to Berkeley, LA to Berkeley, Eureka to Berkeley, to San Francisco to Berkeley. What is your experience about the cultures coming from the B-Town, Berkeley, and then traveling all around the world? Tell me what that was like for you. Was it transactional or was it transformational?
Yeah. So you could ask that about any situation, to be honest, but this isn't a philosophy podcast. I would say probably actually my transition from high school to Berkeley was a bit more jarring. I guess it's funny, like you take these leaps in life and like they kind of are what they are to the outside, but they're based on information. And as a high school player, I didn't have a lot. I only played 1 year of varsity. My mom didn't help or really know what she was doing. And then there was this move. I didn't know much about Berkeley at all. But if we're talking about when I went overseas, yes, culturally there was a shock, but I spent years in the D League with guys being like, hey, overseas ain't for everybody, bro. Time in Croatia, you wouldn't even understand. And so like when you go out there with like a lot of stories already, like way different than I came into college. And I guess lastly, I'll say, Berkeley on its own, to take it back to why it was such a big jump from high school. And it's changed a lot. Like, I hate to say it, it's not the same as it was. Nothing is. We used to have more cherished times. But there is like just a magic in every person. Like everyone who went there, it's like they decided to be a little different. Now, maybe not different to me, but different to like their space, right? Like I met some people I really disagree with politically, really don't even need to be friends, but I'm not mad at them. In their world, they're like, well, I'm the different Republican. And I'm like, I kind of get that. Like, I think everyone has found that in Berkeley. And when you get that there, I don't know, the rest of the world is a little easier.
Right. I can imagine Berkeley probably prepares you pretty well for going overseas and just seeing how the rest of the world lives, just because, here in Berkeley, things are a little different anyway compared to the rest of the country, right?
It's its country in itself.
That's right. That's right.
True.
Well, yeah, I mean, just wondering if you have any favorite moments from your playing days back at Cal, for one thing. And then also kind of a twofer kind of question. You've called your time at Berkeley the most important time of your life. What makes Cal such a special place to you?
All right. So question one, basketball moments. I'm going to pull one that most people, I don't think I've been asked that question before, but we played BYU on the road. I want to say maybe to open my junior year. Like it wasn't the opener because we used to play like the EA Sports team or whatever. But whatever game, it was like first or second game of the year at BYU. No one can breathe. And I mean, at that point, I was like, well, I guess he's old enough and no one else is here. We'll put him in the lineup to the outside. But no one had seen what I'd done in practice and stuff like that. So I just remember I hit like a turnaround jumper like late. And then I like ran the floor and got like a layup or something or a dunk. And I was running back with my arms out like wings, like, and all these white people in the BYU Cougars doing backflips and stuff. And I just remember being like, I'm here now. That's cool. I can't believe I could do that. I can't believe I just did that. I think that kind of like launched. I mean, there were moments like that in practice too, but in game, that was the first time where I like did moves, like was rewarded for effort, things like that. What makes Berkeley a special place overall? If I'm paraphrasing your second question correctly, I mean, it's a lot of things. I was just at Stanford and I spent the whole time being like, does anybody see how ugly this campus is? Like, I understand what happens here and that geniuses are here and a bunch of things, but has anybody seen how ugly it is? There's a beauty in every corner of Berkeley. If I'm remembering my time as a student well enough, I mean, there'd be hours I should have been in class, but I just sit near the campanile. Or like, just go in it. Like, am I allowed to do this? Is that, yes, you are, sir. Come in. Like, go up there and look. And I feel like you connect to the actual space almost as much as you connect to the people. And there are a lot of beautiful college campuses. Let's not get it twisted. But on the West Coast, I don't think any has the views that we have. So I'll take it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I love this quote that you said, I guess, just a couple of years back when you did that incredible art piece of Marshawn and Justin, and we'll get to that in a little bit later in the interview. But you said Berkeley is where I learned how many more people thought the way I thought and wanted to live in a better world. We challenged each other in the best ways. Any young person who has an opportunity to live in that environment is a blessed person. I thought you hit the nail right on the head with that for sure. Because that
Man,
diversity.
again, I was like, who said that? And you finished like, that was me.
That was
Holy
you.
moly. I'm
was you.
good. Thanks, Rod.
Believe it or not. Well, I mean, it also kind of leads me to the next question, which is when did you discover that you had such a great knack for writing? And what led you to start your blogs, Too Much Rod Benson and Ball Don't Lie?
I don't know if I ever figured out I was a good writer. I still am pretty sure I'm not. It's funny because, like, in a technical sense, I guess I should have had more confidence in the space. I was in AP English at a school where the teacher wrote the literal AP English for Dummies book to study for the test. But when you're in that environment and you don't really care about it, you just get negative marks. So, like, in a real way, I never got higher than like a B in any English class ever, even if I was in honors and AP. And then at even at Berkeley, like all the writing classes, I wouldn't say struggled in. I just didn't like. I knew where my limitations are, so I just stopped there. And further, I think the way we teach writing is a little antiquated. This idea of like you have to write 5 pages on this subject. Well, if I can say it in 1 page, the rest is going to be nonsense. So all those factors, I just believed I wasn't good. But then when I graduated, I remember I was living in Sacramento, like right after. We're talking like late May, and people just kept asking me what I was like on. And again, it's funny looking back. A lot of people made the same decision at the same time worldwide, but I'm like, well, I can just make a website. I hated the word blog. I still don't really like it. It's like blog. Come on, like lames did blogs. I'm like, I'm starting a website for the homies, and it's just immediately everyone was super interested. Close friends. And it's crazy that, like, again, this couldn't happen in today's era. Like some of the things I know now I had to learn in those first couple of weeks is like, I remember being like, again, nowadays this isn't as taboo to say out loud with the Diddy trial and everything out, but I posted something like, again, only like 15 friends of mine saw this, but I was like, a lot of people cheat. I wasn't expecting this. And like, out of those 15 people, 7 were like, bro, love you, but maybe don't say that. And I'm like, okay, I'm learning. What I want to say it because it's kind of awkward, but sure. And then that interest in that feedback launched 1,000 ships.
I think it's been something to say about your authenticity and your unique perspective on things, and just how you kind of just hit it right on the head there, where you said you're kind of unafraid to just throw it out there and see what the reaction is, right? And so, you know, I remember when I first read your stuff, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute! I know Rod Benson. He's writing," and it's like I read your stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." And I just thought it was so refreshing, and I think that's a big part of what led to you getting recognized for being a pretty darn good writer. So don't ever sell yourself short because you're pretty darn good.
Well, I think when you to follow up a bit, when you mention the like authenticity and all those things, it is going to become a philosophy podcast for a second. I don't know, I think that's like, it's always like kind of weird because I'm like, I guess we're so conditioned, in my opinion, the more liberal and more money you have, to like not saying anything true ever, that someone just like saying what's actually happening, everyone's like, stop, please don't. And I've always gotten in trouble for being like, I'm sorry, am I the only one taking crazy pills today? Like people are like, Rod, you have so many crazy stories. I'm like, no, everyone would have crazy stories if they stopped accepting just lies. You go out to anywhere. If we were at like an alumni event right now, everyone would present their best lie. And I don't mean like it's actually a lie, right? But it's like your whole life doesn't revolve around your AI startup, bro. Like, but that's what we're talking about. So then you don't have to say anything that's real. And I guess I've just always been in trouble for just rejecting that. And I personally think that's crazy. And the older I've gotten, the less I apologize for it. Because if everyone wants to lie all the time, that's great. I'll just be over here, keeping it a buck.
Yeah, well, then, like Ahmad likes to say, keeping it real is keeping it right.
In this day and age, and not to get super political, but I see folks out there protesting, yada yada yada, and no kings and hands off, and they're speaking about Medicare and Social Security, which are all real. But when I look at the demographics of folks out there, most of them are white or older, and this has been said in the news. And I said to somebody in a large group at Cal, I said, folks of color have been dealing with this a long time. And when you play sports, you see a lot of things, not only on your team, but you get to different states, and folks are like, they don't like you not because you're the opposing team, it's because you're from California,
Oh.
and that's just loaded up with a whole bunch of things. And so, um, I'm not surprised at what you say, because going to Berkeley, you have folks, in a lot of spaces where they weren't, but are able to and were capable keeping it real to keep it right. And
Yeah.
then they go home and it gets twisted.
Mm.
Gets twisted. Go ahead, Rod.
One button on that. I'm currently downtown, so we have a curfew tonight at 8. I can leave the house, but I was out last night riding my bike. It's a ghost town if you do so. This weekend I think is going to be politically explosive. There's a bunch of no kings protests.
Yeah.
But you mentioned some of these things, and I'm like, yes. To me, the issue isn't the demographics who's talking about it, it's who's acting on it. I'm down here. We out here. I did a mural today. Almost, you wouldn't believe this, but it's absolutely true. I had a gun pulled on me today as I was doing this mural, a No Kings mural downtown. It wasn't on it was like some street stuff. You spend enough time down there. But what I mean is, yeah, the people actually making change have to be around the people that the demographic that you called out don't necessarily want to spend time around. So my kind of thing lately has been kind of calling out like, yeah, you live in LA, but when's the last time you even saw someone who wasn't socioeconomically in your bracket? And what did you think? Did you even think twice about him? Probably not. Again, this is about Cal, but to me, this is like the spirit of what I liked about Berkeley in the first place. Some of these big ideas were being like sharpened, and I didn't have the brain capacity to understand what the sharpening was. But as a sharpened man, I believe I'm living the principles I was told Berkeley was. But I know other people who are just like, well, I'm a lawyer, I can't possibly. And it's like, well, that's a choice. Can you not possibly? Everybody who decides to be a lawyer forever can never impact society? I don't know.
You need to check your lens. You need to check your lenses.
Call me crazy.
I'm just saying. Just saying. But that, as we talk about that, it was, for me, it's a segue to my next question. To, different dude. And what was your inspiration? Where did you find that voice? What we talked about, blah.
Yeah.
We talked about website. You talked about those other voices that came to say, "Hey, partner, slow your roll." Where did you find that voice as your inspiration developed? Where did that kick in?
Man, I tell this whole story when I do I'm on the book tour. Technically, I was at Stanford actually last week giving the presentation, but first 10 minutes I explain this. I'll try to make it like a 2-minute version. Again, please keep me on a clock because I can just ramble. But I didn't really care for doing a book in any particular sense. In fact, when I was playing, almost every time I would get in like some sort of trouble, not like actual trouble, like my agent would be like, oh, they don't want to sign you. They're like scared you're going to write a tell-all book. So like I had this like idea of like, well, the only like shitty people do that. And my book isn't tell anything really, except for about myself, if you've read it. But it was just kind of this nebulous thought. But then when the pandemic hit and everyone started working on other things, I do improv and I started working on a script about basketball. And it's because I ran into an old actor friend of mine, and we had like a meeting with Warner Brothers like right away. I mean, this is actually like maybe a week before the pandemic. We met with this woman from Warner Brothers at 3 Arts. Dude, all these things I never even like, I'm like, wow, that quick, that easy. And then the pandemic hit and it just all went away. And I was like, well, let me just write this script out. And it kind of sucked, but you know, it's my first script. And then that idea was just dormant. Fast forward to 2022, I like essentially lose all my money because it's in like a Doge account that gets hacked somehow, which I still don't understand. That two-factor authentication, whatever. Like people are be like, you should have kept it in the wallet. Like, yeah, I did all that. If anyone wants to be honest, yes, a lot of people have had their money stolen from crypto accounts. Me too, like all of it. So this full reset. And then later that year, I go to Toto Santos, like basically Cabo, on a mastermind retreat. And I told my guy, I'm like, I have no money. It all got stolen. And he's like, put it on a credit card. It'll be worth it. I'm like, so I maxed out a card to go to Totos. And this is when the genesis of the book really took place. You know, I wrote it like 8 months later, but I'm on this mastermind retreat with like, I think it's exactly 34. I think the number is 35 people, 34 other people, a lot of them couples, almost all of them white, and 50 like boomers, are young Gen X or old Gen X, but like very wealthy, like Chip Conley, you know, the Airbnb guy was like one of the hosts, right? So every day, the point was you gave a 30-minute presentation. Somebody gave a 30-minute presentation to the whole group, and the rest of the group was supposed to help you solve your problems. We're all so smart. We can solve each other's, and it was high level conversation, but mine was the fourth day. And the whole week at night, when the presentations are happening, we're just like, again, I don't know what I can say on here or not, but just edit whatever, but everyone's just doing shrooms and drinking tequila and stuff, and like, and just talking and getting to know each other's like business stuff. And so they're like, yo, when they get to me, like, what's your thing? And I'm like, well, this, kind of like you were saying earlier in the intro. Like, no, you got to, all these very smart, very wealthy, older white people were like, you got to pick one. If you don't pick one, it's not going to work. You're not going to, you can't possibly, you're leaving a bunch of hobbies. And I'm like, this is a weird conversation to have all week. And I decided when it came to my time to just present all of it, I'm like, I don't think these people get it. And it was crazy because the 30 minutes is supposed to be 20 minutes to present and then 10 minutes for Q&A. And I hadn't done a PowerPoint since like high school, but I do up like a keynote presentation, and I realized it was 28 minutes. I practiced in the bathroom, and then I emailed the like director. I'm like, hey, you might have to cut my Q&A time short because it's 28. I did a presentation. It's about 28 minutes. She's like, we'll put you last of the day, and then we'll just say that you can have 30, and then we'll do the 10 after, and everyone will agree. And I'm like, okay, bet. We sat there. Dinner was ready for 2 hours discussing what I presented. It was racial. It was critical. It was all over the place. But one of the people there who I hadn't got to know well yet is a publisher out of New York named Eric Schoenberg. And he said something that pissed me off at the time, but we talked about it later and it settled for me. He's like, I love that presentation. I loved it, but it felt arm's distance. And I'm like, bitch, I was talking about police brutality and this and this and this. But when I thought about it later, I'm like, that's an interesting concept. What do we consider arm's distance? That version that I said is like the lie when you're outside, everyone's just kind of lying. Like, here's my company. That's that distance. And he challenged me to close that gap. And in considering what that was, which took months of me like processing that, making art, a bunch of stuff, it became clear that I do things that I do think are arm's distance all the time. And other people are like, I can't believe you shared that. But vice versa, the things I think are like worth keeping close to the vest, people are like, why don't you share that? And I'm like, well, if I'm going to share all of it, just do all of it and make the book intentionally hit these emotional beats. Don't lean too heavy on any one particular space because that's not the point. The point is all of those things are basketball. All of those things are the coming in version that you would have with your teammate or your friend about what your day was. Anybody dating somebody who played a professional sport has written a different dude to their girlfriend over time if they aggregate the text. So yeah, that's the idea. And then the words different dude, I've just been called it so many times that I was just like, works, fits, boom.
Yeah.
For the folks out there who may be listening and watching who haven't picked up different dude, basically it's really interesting because it doesn't go kind of linearly through your life. You've got all these little short snapshots that bounce around all over the place, different periods of your life. and they all kind of mix together with a lot of humor and insight. But can you summarize for our listeners what it means to become a different dude and how all that evolved for you in your own life?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the book is not chronological. You're right. And it's also not random either. I maybe just consider a different timeline, like an emotional timeline. So if you're reading it and you're like, well, I'm jumping to 2014 and now to 2006 and then now to like 1998, I think a technical processing brain would be like, I don't get it. But I think a feelings brain would understand it. Like I kind of purposely drew out these spaces. Like there's ads inside the book that break up sections. So each like section leading up to an ad is like one emotional arc. And then in between the same thing, but then there's a different emotional arc between 1 and 2 ads. And a whole emotional arc when you finish, a lot of it is only tied up in the last few stories. So people who don't finish books might just think, all right, this is random. But that last bit is what brings it all together. And in that last bit, without spoiling it, I think the idea is that, man, actually, to even draw from what I said earlier, everybody's arm's distant. Bring people in and be honest. And yeah, there'll be friction, but was anything in there that bad? Like there were bad things. Let's not get it twisted. It gets heavy sometimes, but was anything that bad? All right. When you make this change in your life, like I said, I had a gun pulled on me earlier today. I'm not shivering. It's not the biggest thing on my mind. I'm at a hotel because I just got back from San Francisco. I'm supposed to move into an apartment. That's the biggest thing on my mind. The actual practicality of my life, not the things I'm told to be scared by, not the people I'm told not to talk to, not the ideas I'm told not to think. And most importantly, because there's a lot of red pill dudes who say stuff like that, and I disagree with them. Even a lot of tech bros who talk like that, and I disagree with them. You have to have a moral base, like a true moral base of like, when the thing gets hard, am I still going to go ahead? Like the small version is you walk outside and you throw something in the trash and it misses and falls over. You go back and put it up. The big version is, do you call back that friend when you're wrong? Do you see the person on the bus who's never felt seen before? Do you even spend time in places where those things are possible?
Yeah.
Those are different dudes. But that, to me, I heard that's what humanity was supposed to be. Just who's doing it?
No, that's real talk. You know, in your book and reading it, and it causes the effect that pausing in the moment and doing, if you're reading it, for me, self-reflection, that it doesn't, there are things I'm doing now in 2025, yet in 1998, I think about, and different space, different place, but you're moving differently. You're moving differently. Where you tippy-toe before, you are in gazelle stride, right? And to recognize that is really, or even the vulnerability and saying, man, as a father now versus when I was and always was a son, but will be a son, but as the father now, the parent, having conversations with my children, young adults, those with families now. In 1985, my second child, I was like, I'm going to be this kind of parent. 2025, I'm like, man, what's going on, dude? What's up, Dad? The text message, hey, player, what you doing? A whole different thought, ain't no leave it to beaver, you know what I mean? Yep. At all. It's just really keeping it very real and keeping it close and really being in the moment. So I think now at 65, my next question is, because it made me think about this in Short Reza, people who are in their mid-career or in that space in life where, just like when the pandemic hit, wow, life as I knew it has changed. Now I have to do X, where other folks said, you know what? I'm tired of doing Y. I'm going to do Z and reinvent myself. When you go through your book and being that different dude, which is a continuum, right? Was there a factor of fear going from, the caterpillar to the butterfly? Being in that cocoon, if you will.
I'll be honest with you. I think if caterpillars were ever scared of becoming butterflies, we wouldn't see any. I think the caterpillar knows to spin its thing.
Yeah.
And then life just happens.
Yeah.
And I think there's some version of that I think almost every philosophy book, even like the Bible, will tell you, like, you find that inner peace, the outcome is the outcome. I'll give you a story real quick. Late last summer, hot ass day, we're talking like early September, must have been 100. I'm on 7th, right down the street, and I'm going to the spray paint store, which is on 6th and Alameda. So it's like a mile ride through Skid Row. I do it all the time. It's okay. I'll probably do it later today. On this particular day, for whatever reason, I'm like a third of the way there, a quarter of the way there. Some guy, his back is to me, he doesn't see me, just has a cup of something and just tosses it over his shoulder. And it just hits my whole body. And I look at my arm and it's like bubbling. I'm like, is this piss? And I can't smell if it's piss. Like maybe because I'm moving too fast. I'm going like 30 miles an hour on my bike. And it's from there to the art store is like 2 minutes, but back home would be 15 seconds. And I just kept riding. And I was like, I think there's a version of me 20 years ago, 15 years ago that would text a bunch of people like, you won't believe what happened to me today. There's a blog I'd write about it like, worst day of my life, man. But I was like, it literally was nobody's fault. Nobody is in the wrong. It's on me anyways. It'll get off me at the minute I can get it off, regardless. I went to the art store and bought my paint. I don't know if I smell weird. I don't know if I look weird, whatever. And the cool thing about an art store is nobody cares either because everybody's living in their truth. Then I just rode home and showered and I didn't tell a soul.
Yeah.
It's just a day. If the circumstances weren't here, I wouldn't have told people about the gun thing earlier. I know it sounds extreme, but it really wasn't. It's just like some street stuff that when you're on it a lot, you might see or deal with in a way that how it happens. But I'm not like, again, I'm not shivering. And I think there's so much that people have tried to avoid in life, especially the more money you have, the safer you can kind of afford to live, where they just avoided a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. I have very wealthy friends who like don't even know how to ride a bicycle right now. And their kids just know AI. And that's fine. But let them get splashed with a cup full of mystery juice. I ask people all the time, hypothetically, because I always know the answer, did you jump off a building when Enron went under? Because the answer is no for having this conversation. But I remember it was crazy. I'm like, sorry, a company went under and are people jumping from windows, committing suicide? Have you experienced any actual pain? Or is this the first time? And you experience pain when you live, and that's what being different is to me.
I think you're right. I mean, it is not being afraid, but just embracing the moment and the preparation for that, whatever that is, whatever's in your toolbox. Become the MacGyver, if you will, right, to make it work. Make it work, and all those things that you've talked about in your book, and in moments in times like. I felt like I'm traveling and, we push that button and we start going and all of a sudden we're in 1998 and then it's 2007. What? But that's real. That's real. And I think about that because then I think about when I heard about your trauma, talk about real pain, right? Police brutality, that traumatic experience. Can you share what that was like? Like right before, what was your day like right up to that moment? And then how things just...
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've fully thought about what my day was like before then, since then. But I'm in Las Vegas meeting with Koreans to potentially get a lot of money. And it was right after I retired, so I saw a plucky attitude about a lot of things, like very capitalist thinking, like, hell yeah, in Vegas, get the money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I'm on a mission.
Afterwards, I actually can't. It's not a feeling I can describe, but it's not just because of police brutality. I mean, there's a couple stories in the book. I don't know which one you're necessarily referring to, but the more traumatic one I think is Neon Black story.
Yes.
It like I just didn't know I could respond emotionally in that way. And I think it just scared me. I was like, what? I had already started going to therapy like right before then, just like preemptively. I'm like, I'm retiring. Let me go to therapy. So, but then a couple of days later, I went home and like, went home to San Diego to see my mom and stuff and family. And I remember being like, I got to talk to you guys about this. Like something has shifted. I can't explain it. I don't know why I feel this way. I need to like study myself or something. Cause I've been through this before. So why is this time different? And I think the answer to that is just maturing. I had also spent so much time in Asia that I'd gotten used to like things maybe not working that way on one hand, but on the other hand, like maybe people just operating with like a different sense of like decency and communication and all these things that I like now adopted. And it just have that all turned upside down. Like it was never real or something. Like you got to face what reality actually is. So I did.
Yeah. I mean, it's just really inspiring, I think, more so than anything, to me, to just see how that incident really sparked the genesis for you as this artist. And you are quite a damn good artist. And you've got these different art shows that you've done. Your artwork has appeared internationally to critical acclaim. And something that Cal fans should fondly remember was you did this iconic picture between Marshawn Lynch and Justin Forsett that was captured on television. And the painting was unveiled during a game at Memorial in 2022 when both Lynch and Forsett were inducted into the Cal Hall of Fame. And well, this signature style that you have developed, this neon black style, can you tell all of us about how that all kind of came to be and what that's all about?
Yeah, I mean, the police brutality story kind of sets it up, but you know, in short, for years and years, I was the only person like wearing neon. Like my old brand Boom though, which we started in like 2006, 2007, was like all bright colors. And I remember we were trying to blow up this brand and get it in stores and all this stuff. And all of my peers who were 23-year-olds were like, oh, like my niece would love this. My friend's kids would love this. My kids would love this. I'm like, so this is for adults. Why is like color just for kids? What do we drown out of ourselves that like, and also like throughout the whole world, in all of world history, every culture has been very colorful. Yeah. We just happen to live in like the gray, and people are like, oh, well, if it's colors, it's for kids. And like, again, it's another version of like, yeah, because kids are honest and they like colors. So do adults. They just pretend they don't, in my opinion. They don't know how to work with colors. We're not taught to think in color. And because of that, and after the events, I'm like, well, I like neon things. I don't think that's a bad thing. And I am black, neon black, the brightest version there is. And it's kind of weird because like that, I think that was looking back, like I don't really think about neon black anymore. It was just what I needed to like accept my own, like myself, basically. But at this point, I have 100 styles. I don't like, I guess I'm the artist who like, you can't really get a lot out of because I'm like, what do you do? Like, I don't know. It's like things. There's too many and I don't like, it's too specific and whatever. Like sometimes there's a gun. Neon black.
What do you got planned next? So you're on a book tour right now, going around the country?
Well, I was in New York in February, LA, May, Palo Alto last week, 2 weeks ago. And then we'll finish. I mean, who knows what the summer holds, but we'll finish in Osaka and Tokyo at the end of the year. At the Tokyo Book Fair when the Japanese version of Different Dude comes out.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, I don't know the last time you updated on this, but since the new year, I've basically only painted murals. Now I have a couple commissions coming up soon, but I'll be finishing this mural tomorrow. I basically have done like around one a week since the start of the year. Wow. And I kind of learned that I'm like the fastest, like maybe there is. I don't really know why. I can't explain it. I can explain a little bit of it, that I don't need a ladder for like a standard, like, I know it sounds funny, but moving a ladder side to side just takes a lot more time. If you're doing one story, I can reach one story. If you're doing bigger than that, I would need a ladder.
Yeah, I'm 5'9.5". I need a ladder. I need a chair around the house, you know. So, and I'm like, and every time I have to reach for something on top shelf, I go like, dang, I got to get that chair. And I literally did it. We right before we came on, I was moving some, and one of the dishes on top kind of leaned, and I was like, give me the chair. And I'm talking to myself, you know.
Man, listen, my entire life, if you go to my kitchen, the bottom cabinet's all empty. The highest cabinet's all full of very important essentials. I've had to learn to move like certain things down. So like guests are like, you don't keep your cups at 9 feet, my guy. I'm like, well, I do. I'm sorry.
One thing we talk about in justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. The other aspect is access. Access. You know, not just
consider my actions. It's just capitalist. I put it up high because you got to earn it.
Right.
You didn't earn a ladder.
I can't get a drink. I can't get a drink.
Nah, and guess what? The bottom cabinets, they're there. They're barren. Good luck. Good luck making it up.
I'll be at the water faucet. But hey, so look, you know, I was there because I got in the Hall of Fame for the year after, but they had the joint piece. But that was a great moment. There was a University of Washington, Cal versus University of Washington game, Hall of Fame game. That was a great moment, man, to see your work.
It was cool. I didn't know any of that was going to happen, too. I didn't know it was on ESPN, any of that. I just got the text afterwards, and I'm like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
You know, as a younger artist, I'm like, I'm about to be rich. The whole nation just saw this painting. No one called.
Hello? You're just picking up the phone.
No, I'll just sit next to my phone like any minute now.
I know they're going to call. You turn it on, turn it off again.
Yeah, maybe it's a service thing. I know it's supposed to be T-Mobile. Listen, I know you blocking my service right.
Hey, what you doing? Nothing. Hey, look, I need you to call me back to see my phone's working. Well, you're on your phone. I know, but I don't know if I'm gonna get some outside calls. But that's real. Well, man, look, you know, you have given us a very delightful show here. I mean, it is what we talk about, what it means to be at Berkeley, and how those transformational experiences, from walk to the north side, to the south side, to the west side of campus, and everything around in the Bay, and being a student athlete, and the kind of student athletes that come out of that university. You capture that.
I mean, really think about it. If I didn't go to Berkeley, I don't think there would ever be a world where a homeless person would live in my car, right? But it was Berkeley. I was around these people. They this guy audited classes, right? I say it in the story. It's like that place, especially back then, it's like there's this blurred line between like even being a student and not. It was just like if you were in that like area, you were like a Berkeley guy.
Yeah.
Were either of you guys like around for Dr. Jokemon? Like, I assume he wasn't just my 4 years. Does that name ring a bell?
Not for me.
No. It was just like I don't know. I don't know if he was homeless. I know I saw him every day, not in a house. But he had a sign that said free jokes. And if you went up to him, he would tell you a joke. And me being just my size, I remember I bought in the first day. The first day I was at school and I saw this. I'm like, I want a free joke. And he's like, I got a tall tale for a tall guy. You qualify. I'm like, yeah, sir, I said I'm in, please. He's like, all right, why does the Easter bunny always hide his eggs? And I'm like, why? He's like, shit, he don't want nobody to know he's fucking a chicken. And I'm like, earn my dollar, sir. The reason I remember that joke is because 40 more times he just forgot that he met me already. Every time I walk by, I'm like, I got a tall tale for a tall guy. You qualify. I'm like, yes, Dr. Jokemon, tell me the joke. Why does the Easter bunny always hide his eggs?
Stop it.
Why, Dr. Jokemon? Yeah. I heard that joke 40 times. I said, that's like the magic of Berkeley. You didn't get that at Tucson. You got the pool parties, which was great, but you didn't get that.
Yes, sir. That's all right. Well, look, people have, as we ask all our guests on the show, and this may happen before you get to Cal. It may happen while you're at Cal. It may happen once you've left Cal. But we ask folks, tell us if you can remember. If you can remember, what would be your Bear Territory moment?
All right. Well, I'm disassociating from myself a little bit as an athlete, but when we beat USC, 100%, I was mad already because I think we lost to Stanford like a lot of years in a row. And then my freshman year, we beat them. And the basketball team was in Cleveland, walking in the goddamn snow. I was upset. Like I was getting texts, like, we're marching the goalpost down. So I felt like I missed everything, right? But I didn't, because the next year, I mean, I was rewarded like 11 months later, September, what was it, 22nd, 2003, whatever day it was.
2003, all right.
Is that the actual date?
I'm not sure the actual date, but that was
September
2003.
something, 2003, whatever it was. That was one of the greatest college football experiences I think a person can have at any school for any reason. We got Aaron Rodgers and them like leading us against, we got no kicker like we never had for some reason. We just never, Berkeley is just like allergic to kickers. So we missed like 19 kicks, like 4 were blocked because they had, it was actually really cool that USC had their basketball team guys come out just to block kicks. So they like Greg Gunther and these like 6'9" guys just like knocking down our kicks, and we still won. That was the first time I ever rushed the field. And, you know, where the athlete said I was right, like thinking back of like some of the circumstances, it just felt natural, like rush the field. But just where we sat, I was right up front already. So, of course, boom, boom, fastest man on the field first. And I might be mixing this up with a different game, but I think this is the game where Mike Pawlowski was trying to like interview Aaron Rodgers or something, but we all rushed the field. And sorry, Richard, putting your business in the streets, but I already have told this story. Richard Midgley is just like looking at me and knows Pawlowski can't see him, and is just like poking him in the side. Just like, I'm like, what? Knowing Rich, like, if you read my book, this is what we did as freshmen. Like, it's just so dumb. But watching Mike get super mad again, I'm like 19. I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking it's funny, but I'm like, whoa, chill. Like, this is an adult. Like, we don't do that. He like puts the mic down, like, what the fuck is going on? And Richard's like, oops, and like, was never caught. And all of it was just like, yeah, bear territory. You feel me? It was just like this crescendo. For some reason, Mike Pawlowski getting upset and like nothing could be done about it felt like, oh, we really did just win.
Well,
Like,
just
no losing today.
yeah, just as a secret between us, I want to share with you, like, you know, Mike watches the show, so I'm just
Edited out. Listen, I didn't do it. We both do the thing at Bear Insider, so I get like, that's like team.
It's
team.
all good.
I didn't do it.
Mike, he's gonna fall off his chair when he did.
He probably, again, he might be like, that was a different game, whatever. It's like one memory for me, but I can't tell. But I do remember that he was so hot. And
Well,
I was like, why would you do that? This is a grown up.
Well, man, we love you, man, and keep doing what you're doing, brother. You're an inspiration, and you are truly a reflection of what Bear Territory is all about. And I salute you, my guy.
Hey, Rod, we really appreciate you making the time. We didn't even talk about the Rodcast, which is a great name for your own podcast. And I mean, you got that radio announcer voice. I mean, here's the thing that I think that really impresses me about you is there's so many things that you do and do really, really well. And you're just so creative and authentic, and everything that you've been doing with your writing and your artwork. And I'd love to actually, we could put some of your murals, if you're all right with that, just, you know, if you want us to upload, because we, you know, did this all on YouTube as well. I'd love for our audience to see some of your more recent work as well. So, but yeah, I mean, you guys, like I said, we didn't even get around to talking about if you're following what's going on with the Cal basketball program and talk about all that. So we got enough for a whole other show. So we'd love to have you on again as we go on. But I know we got to cut it now. We're running out of time. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I'll also say, I think that one of the greatest things on our podcast is we don't get stuck in the gym or on the field or on the court. You know, we share with people what we already know, what Real Bear is all about, and let that just blossom on this show. And then the person goes, oh, yeah, he played basketball, but this is what I learned today.
Exactly.
Man, let me give you guys some props too then. Thanks for inviting me for one, but if I'm remembering correctly, did you used to have like a Twitter that was really big, or what did you do before the podcast, Reza?
Oh, me? No. Yeah, I didn't even know Twitter until I realized, oh, I got to get this out virally. I didn't even ever use Twitter. So,
You're
no,
like a blog or something, right? Am I
yeah,
misremembering?
that apparently was the world's very first sports blog back in the early 90s. So I was a
Jeez. Okay.
student, yeah, and I started
I'm
writing
not giving
about
you
Cal
proper
stuff.
credit, but
Yeah.
it was a setup to say that I noticed the jump into the podcasting space. I've seen the guests you've had on, including Jeff, who's obviously just a remarkable person. And I've admired from the outside too. Like I love to see people keep taking their passions to the next level. So it's all mutual.
Honestly,
It's all love.
thank you, man. And honestly, your book was a part of that too. Like just realizing that, hey, do something different. I mean, we're put on this earth. We only got so much time. You gotta get after it and do something, right? So appreciate that so much. Thank you. And so thanks so much again for making the time here, Rod. Go Bears!
Go Bears.
Go Bears. What about Mets data?
Man, so glad Rod didn't get shot. He's such an entertaining guest and so damn talented. We look forward to having him on again down the road and hearing his thoughts on the state of the Cal basketball program. We only had so much time on this episode. And hey, if you haven't yet picked up Different Dude, you really need to. Rod does a great job writing about all these different experiences in his life, and you have to read the one about how he got to hang out with Jackie Chan. It's so good. As you've heard me say before, this podcast is entirely a labor of love and a reflection of how much we love our university. Please help tell the whole damn world about us by sharing us with all your Cal friends. Simply share tellthewholedamnworld.com on the social media platform of your choice. You can also follow us on X, better known as Twitter, at Win4Cal. That's Win, the number 4, Cal. And remember, we're going back to releasing one episode per week, so please be sure to join us again next Monday, when Ahmad and I will have Amy Trask on as our featured guest. As the first woman to ever be the CEO of an NFL franchise, she's a true trailblazer, and of course, a very proud Golden Bear. Thank you so much for tuning in. We sincerely appreciate all of you out there listening and watching. See you next week. This podcast is about celebrating all things Cal and the prominent people who are passionate about the University of California. Do you feel Cal is the center of the universe? Do you bleed blue and gold? We want you to tell the whole damn world about it. Go Bears!